Okay, so we're gonna do the transformation here. So I'm gonna do two Waverider mode and then two back to robot mode in this video, just to keep the main review shorter. Figured I'd do this as a separate thing. I do have the instructions handy because I guarantee I'm gonna need them, because this thing is one of the more complex transformations I've ever seen. For a Gundam, because, well, like I said before, I haven't done one of these before, and I have a hair like in my eyes. I don't know. The wifey's hair get everywhere. Okay, so where I left off in the review, this is already how it's going to be for Waverider mode, so we're not even concerned about that. Sorry about the squeakiness. It's going to do that. I swear to God, I'm gluing that on while I'm right here in front of you guys, mid-video. Just going to glue that on. It doesn't ever need to come off again. I don't want it to ever come off again, so we're just going to dabby dab of glue and stick it back on. Not like it needs to move or anything, but I'm going to be moving the head around, so that's a thing. Okay, so first and foremost, you need to pull the back up and out. Like there's a whole thing like that, and you really just want to get it out and straight. Once again, sorry about the squeakiness. Now next is one of the more disconcerting ones, and I'm actually going to jump ahead a step. Go ahead and pull the arms out like this, so you get these little tongue guys here, these little forks, so to speak. Let me see. Let me turn the cameras on a little bit. Cameras. Turn that on. Actually, you know what? That was the first step. My bad. Okay, so you want to pull these guys out so that it's out of the way of the chest, because the whole chest has to untab. Once again, this is one of the more disconcerting parts. So it's just tabbed in, I think, down here, kind of. And then you want to pick that guy up, and then you're going to shove the head down. Now, it's on a slider. The whole collar and everything is on a slider, and then you want to tuck the head away. Let's see. Okay, so it tabs in these spots inside the chest. Now, once again, I'm just going to turn that, and you want to get the chest as flat up as you can, and then you want to pull the backpack thing down over it like so. And then you want to come to the butt skirt. Now this is an interesting one. So you want to pull this back, like normally it's kind of tabbed in and over that, and then you want to, oh, actually it tells you to pull it down like this, and then, oh, I couldn't see this before until just now. Hold on, I need my spudger. This is a thing I completely forgot about. So there's a piece back here. If you're familiar with the MG Unicorn, it's a very similar piece. And really all that does is allow you to slide these things open and close. It wasn't really doing much. I was wondering in the instructions what the heck that was pointing at. So now it gets that like Dita Von Teese style waist. Yeah, that was a very different reference for a lot of you. Okay, so now what we want to do, we're going to come down to the hips. Now this is an interesting one, because what you're pulling on is not actually the hip inside there. You're pulling on just the top of the hip joint, and it will slide out like so. See? And then from there, we're going to turn the shoulders. So what you want to do is you want to pull this kind of in. Remember exactly how it wants us to do this. So kind of pull it in, and then you want to rotate the shoulder up, and then you want to rotate this part. There's two different rotating bits. Actually, you can just go ahead and do it this way. So rotate it down. So now the shoulder, as you can see the difference. So now that part that was going into the chest is now facing outward. That will become important later on. See, look, if you rotate it here, the way I just did it, so that section rotated in. So now it's just inverted on top of itself. And the part with the head is just gonna get in the way. You're just gonna have to deal with it. One thing is, the instructions tell you to take the hands off at one point. You really don't have to. In fact, it kind of lends to the idea of a real transforming suit if you leave the hands attached. Though I will say, go ahead and rotate them like that, so to speak, like so that the palm is facing the forearm. Okay, now this is where we start to get a bit complicated because the arms and legs are basically going to switch places, and I know that doesn't make a lot of sense, but we'll get there. So we want to come to the backpack, slide these all the way out. They'll pop like that. So that's going to give us our clearance for slide around mode, so to speak. Now, this is the confusing part. So we want these to come up. The legs you want to flip up, and then you want the knees to bend down at 90. Do that for both. And there's probably a couple steps here you can modify. So it wants you to swing the thing out this way and then go vertical with it and then go horizontal. So it wants you to do this. It wants you to really prepare this whole situation. Now I don't know why this one is not cooperating. So the problem is that like you get to here and then it's like, okay, now what? Because you have to get it down and around that under there. So that's interesting. Well, how did I get that side? I can't get this one. Either way, that's not going to be super relevant until later on. So just don't worry too much about it. And I forgot you want the arms to be like that. Kind of. All right, so now the scary part. And the funny thing is they show you kind of an exploded view of this happening. So with nothing else in the way. But basically you need to grab the hip and pull out from the crotch. And there's just a ball joint right here that it's going to ride on. And then this is clipped in down there. And so you'll see that it drops out like this. And then you want to rotate it like so. And then I think that's kind of how it wants to be. So you want the leg, yeah, you want the leg to be just like this. And now comes the part where the legs now have to switch places with the arms, so to speak. So I'm going to rotate the arm forward and get it out of the way. Like you really want the arm. The arms are going to come into the chest zone, but you have to get the legs to where they need to go. So utilizing that ball joint and that cutout, you're wanting to bring the leg all the way up, and there's actually a slot right there that will tab into. So he's going to end up squatting like this, so to speak. And then with the arms, you just kind of wanting to tuck this back in here. You have a little bit of a reverse elbow bend that's going to help you. So you just want to get it back in there like that. So we want to do the same thing on this side. So let's just move the arm in and kind of out of the way. Go ahead and pop this guy loose at the groin. Rotate up, and then that's going to slot in to the spot right back in there. Sort of. Now the arm is actually in the way of itself. Hold on. I need the arm to be down. And then rotate that forward. You kind of have to do a couple things at once. It does show you to like remove the arm to do this. And it's like, I'm not removing the arms just to make this happen. Okay, so tuck that in. That will tab in. That will tab in. It's being difficult. Okay, so we want to get the arms up under the crotch, so to speak, and then get the hip skirts where they need to go. There we go. So I got that tabbed in there. So now you have this, which is crazy in and of its own. Now where am I? Oh yeah, so that was telling you that the arms need to, we'll tab in somewhere right in there. Come on. There is a spot for the arm to tab in. I just can't quite get her there for some reason. I think that got it right there. Okay, so let's get this hip back where it's supposed to be. I don't know why he doesn't want to tab in. It's weird. The other side's fine. This one being a dingle hopper. Being a forkhead. Okay, so that's kind of weird. It's being difficult. Now people say this thing is a plaster grenade. I don't think it's a plaster grenade. I think it just has some issues, to be totally honest with you. Okay, so when you get to this point, these kind of want to go up in there. Then this is one of the more confusing parts. So you want to slide the thruster down. It'll slide down over a piece that's in the back there. And then you're going to want to just fold the knee up. And then I don't know if there's anything for him to tab into. And then for the foot, tilt the toe down and push inward until it pops, like so. Good to go. Now we're going to try this on the other side, which this is not facing the right direction. That's supposed to be facing that way, right? Let me double check my instructions. Looks like it. Looks like that. Yep. So it's going to want to be like that. Either way. So once again, this is on a slide joint, and it does have a little guy there that it's going to slide down over. There's no good way for me to show that. So it's fine. Just believe me that that's what it's going to do. Did it go down all the way? I think it did. Kind of hard to tell. Okay, so get that down. Yep, it feels a lot more solid. You'll feel it when it gets close because it'll be a lot more solid. There it goes, like that. Okay, so now that's kind of tabbed in together, and then we just fold the leg back. Why are you running into things you're not supposed to run into? Fold the toe. Push that in. I'm guessing this is sort of like this number, like that. Okay, so this is essentially the base Waverider mode. I think it's because that's not pulled out. Yeah, that wasn't pulled out 100%. So there it is in the basic Waverider mode. But then we want to take the shield, and it has a little bitty tab right up in there, and that will tab into this spot under the chest hole. Now, this is a weird part. So you need to be able to hook this under here, and then also get that where it needs to go. It tells you to do it one way. I don't do it that way because I couldn't make it work, if I'm 100% honest. So this was a better way to do it. It says to hook the front and then tuck the back, and I don't think that really works. Maybe it does for you. It doesn't for me. But now I'm trying to hunt down that tiny notch that's supposed to sit in. And it doesn't want to do the thing. So let's see here. Yeah, that's not notching for some reason. So let's pull that back out. Why are you not cooperating? Okay, so that went. I don't know why it couldn't go before. So once that's in place, you somehow, and I stress the somehow, are supposed to tuck this up and over the crotch hook. And given the amount of stretch, that ain't gonna work. Like, I don't understand how they say that's supposed to tilt and get into place. Like you can see, I'm having to really push like that. I guess there's also a slot right there that's holding that in place, which is a good thing. So that actually does a lot of good towards tidying everything up. Oh, look at that. This is not where it needs to be. What is going on with my legs here? Come on. Come on. Work with me here. ReZEL. Okay, so slide that down. You tuck up in there. It's fighting me. I'm not gonna lie. I did not have this much trouble the first time I transformed it, to be totally honest. Things wanted to line up. This time, not so much, especially with this crotch piece here. Not wanting to go in the right spot is really being difficult. And that's not even the one that gave me the problem. It's the opposite side of the one that gave me the problem. So that goes right there. Is it because... I think it's because the leg collapsed in. That's what happened. So once again, I don't see this as a plastic grenade so much as extreme plastic origami. Like, I've had masterpiece transformers that are easier to manipulate than this. Okay, so that is a lot better. So there we go. There it is in frickin' flight mode. Now he does have this handy dandy flight standy, and that is going to slot over the gun like this and just back into place, and there we go. Now for me, I'm going to go back to the rest of the review. For you, you're going to see me transform back to bot mode. Okay, cool. Okay, so obviously, for those watching one video and going back to the other, I just did that part of the review with the Waverider. So I'm just going to pull him off the stand here. Also, I noticed something here with the beam saber. This one is curved, and I don't think it was meant to be. I think it just kind of went that way. So we're going to slide that off. I really do like how that works. That's very well engineered. I like smart engineering, and sometimes they don't have that. Now we're going to do kind of the opposite of what we did before, but I'm just going to pop this off of here and take it off. See, that's what really makes me think that it's so much easier to do it this way, to tuck this here and then try to plant it, but I guess you just can't get that from that angle. That's weird. So set the shield aside. Then it gets a lot easier. Like, comparatively, undoing this is so much easier than doing it, so to speak. Okay, so we're just going to go ahead and slide these up. Now, you got to be careful that you're not pulling the backpack apart when you're doing this. You'll see here there's some bits sliding that probably aren't supposed to be. And then we'll straighten out the legs, like so. And then this hip is the one that's now giving me problems, even though it was the other one that was giving me problems before. Isn't that crazy how that works? So this is a really strange look here. So I guess since it's already jumping ahead, let's just go ahead and pop that loose. Let's get the arms out. Go ahead and rotate these bad boys out. And I'm just going to go ahead and flip and then flip. And then we'll just sort of have them in the way, so to speak. I'm going to curl up the arm just for that sake. Go ahead and pull this guy back out like so. Flip and then flip. And then let's just curl that bicep. Curl that bicep. And then, by the way, there's a little round section that the arms were kind of tucking into that you couldn't see before. Okay, so that's hitting the backpack, as I was already stating to not do. Thanks for that backpack thing. All right, tuck that in there. Then we want to pull this guy loose, so now that it's off of the head. And then clear the front skirts. Now we want to get all of the hip section and all of this reorganized. So the hardest part is actually getting this to seat again. So you're gonna have to line it up, get the hip in its right spot. Go ahead and push everybody together. Do not push on this. In fact, if you're more comfortable, just go ahead and remove that. It comes off pretty easy. I think that's actually in place, so that's a good thing. All right, so we want to do the same thing over here. Go ahead and pull that off so we don't break anything. Slide the hip up. Tuck that in there. This was the one that gave me more problems anyways when I did it the first time, because you need to get it to peg into itself, and it doesn't like to do that. I think it's good. Let's see. Nope, not good. All right. And to really see what I'm dealing with here, you need the hip up. So I don't know if that's just a function of it not... There we go. Never mind. I answered my own question as I was doing it. So one is tabbing into the other, so you just have to be wary of that. So let's tuck that out of the way. With these hip skirt thingies, if you do pop them off, just make sure that they're facing down, like so. And then if you want to come down to the feet, just grab on, pull down until it unsnaps. Unfold your toesies, like so. And then just because everybody's in the way right now, let's unfold the arms. Like so. Thought I was going to pop a thumb off there. Okay, where are we at? Where are we at? What am I looking at here? Okay, so this all needs to be rotated out. We want to expand. We want to expand the torso, which I think is one of the more interesting parts. And then, since I forgot it, the first go around, where's my spudger? So that bit that was back here pushes down in between your torso parts. If you do it right, one of them's not out all the way, if that's what's happening. Yeah. So it needs to be open all the way, and then that can tuck in there. And then you can raise the butt skirt up. And it's supposed to help secure all of that, so to speak. Well, it's supposed to. Okay, so we'll just leave it up like that and hope for the best. All right, so why is that still not? Okay, so we're just going to grab that, pull the head back up. If you need to, push up from underneath, and then just secure the chest. It has a couple tabs, obviously, on the inside and then near the edges. Everybody should be good. And then you want to rotate the arms in until those pop into place. It takes some finagling just to make sure everybody's lined up right. So just do that. And given all this extra like butterfly joint stuff, you got to be careful. So there we go. Pop that in there. We'll straighten out the arms again. Like so. Like so. Like so. Are we good? We might be good. Tuck those back there. Bring this down and then at an angle. Oh, we need our hip skirts back on there. Just blind grabbing. Is that it? No, that's just a different blue thing. Okay, and then there we go. There he is back in mobile suit and or bot mode. So it's way easier to go from flight to this. So alright, so guys, thanks for watching the transformation video. It's the first time I've done it as a separate thing, so hope you appreciate that. So make sure you give a big old thumbs up on this video. If you haven't watched the main review, go do that. And then, of course, I'll catch you later.